It's been an interesting journey because I grew up in love. So all the things that the people move and how they operate was extremely new to me. Because I will do and give anything to anyone out the kindness of my heart, and I don't want anything back in return for it.
Absolutely.
But I greatly, very fastly learned that that's not how the world operates. People will take from you. As long as your cup is open and full and you're willing to give, they will take.
Oh, yes. Hello and welcome to the Ross Cloud Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Ross, and this platform was created to motivate and to inspire in hopes that you will become a better you. I'd like to give a shout out to everybody that's listening to all over the world. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Ross Cloud Podcast as we navigate through the clouds of life, empowering one another. Listen, we have a very, very, very special guest with us here on today. She is an artist extraordinaire. I'm going to say that. Artist extraordinaire. Right here from North Kakalaki. Yes, indeedy. And we are here today to just kind of talk about being your authentic self while navigating through this thing that we call arts. She's a thespian, and I am looking forward to this conversation. Hello, Rachelle Neal. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Thank you so much for the beautiful introduction, and thank you for
Absolutely.
having me here.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been one that I've been wanting to do in the books. So this is a good thing. I'm actually super, super elated and super excited to have this conversation with you. You know, when we talked earlier, you were talking a little bit about being authentic as it pertains to the arts and how that can be very, very difficult. It can be trying to navigate through that. But before we get into it, tell the folks where you're from.
Well, I currently live in Atlanta, Georgia, by the way of a very small town. I'm originally from Eden, North Carolina.
All right.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
I absolutely love it. What was life like for you growing up in Eden?
Oh, my God. Actually, life was beautiful.
Yeah.
My family, they supported me with everything that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I've been taking extracurricular activities literally since I was 3 years old.
Gotcha.
Just building and molding me into the person that I am today.
Yeah.
I participated a lot in the community, within the school. It was really beautiful.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes.
Oh, Eden, right down the road.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, believe it or not, right down the road.
A little hidden
A
gem.
little hidden gem, right?
Yeah.
Some beautiful folks come out of there, too.
There really are.
Really.
Yes.
So thank you so much again. This is, man, me and Jamal, when we had this conversation, I think, we might have had this some years ago.
Yes.
I want to say some years. He had mentioned it because when we first started this, I was telling him, I said, listen, man, I need diamonds. I said, I need diamonds, people who understand what it takes for a diamond to be created, pressure.
Yes.
So in that pressure, which is a great segue, during those pressure times, if you would, can you talk a little bit about being your authentic self and how important that is as a thespian, you know, in arts, period.
Absolutely. And I will say that pressure that you speak of, I've experienced it in many different seasons of my life, different chapters. Yeah. However, in each season, I learned that it gets easier and easier and easier.
Yeah.
The older that you get so much more confident with being yourself and learning that who you are is what makes you special. Yeah. And if people are trying to put you in a box or put you in a place that they don't see that beautiful gems that you have, they're just in denial. You know, they're unfortunately battling their own trauma and in a space that they can allow you to shine. So you have to understand that and learn how to move away from that.
Yeah.
Because the devil can attack you in so many different ways.
Oh, yeah.
But when you know who you are,
yes,
you're very intentional with what you do and you're sure of yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to get back to a space, build yourself back up, and just go back out and fight again. Because the world is there to attack you.
Yeah, it is.
But if you're built and you know who you are and what you're doing, no one can break you down.
Yeah, I love it. Great.
No.
Great.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to pursue a career in acting?
It's been an interesting journey, to say the least. I grew up from a musical family. I grew up with a studio in my home. Betty Davis, Miles Davis's wife, second wife, is my second cousin. My father's a drummer. So I grew up with a studio in-house. I was always seeing the arts, and honestly, I play a few instruments and I sing as well, and I started dancing. But at the age of 13, my mom she enrolled me into John Roberts Powers, as well as Barbizon. And a lot of people are not too, fond of those agencies. However, they really molded me. It was the only thing that was close to Eden. And it taught me a different world. And as soon as she introduced me to it, I literally fell in love with it. I was able to explore myself in ways that I wasn't. Growing up the way that I did, a lot of kids, they viewed me differently. So operating in that authenticity sometimes made them uncomfortable. But when I got into these spaces, I was actually able to fully be myself and thrive, and I fell in love with it. And literally from the age of 13 all through college up to now, I was known as the actress and the model.
I love it.
Because I knew what I wanted to do, and that's what I spoke of, and that's how I cultivated everything that I did as I grew up.
I love that. I love that. You wear it well, too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you wear it well.
Thank you.
Upon the first meet, it was automatic, though.
Thank you.
A lot of times you don't get that in this space that we're in.
Yes.
You tend to get wolves and sharks.
I've got a lot of them.
You tend to get that. Of course, you try your best to navigate through it and push it out the way and move around it, and you give them that same energy almost a little bit, so you can find yourself. Everything that you're disliking about them, it's almost like you got to be that to
navigate through
it. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Oh, my God. It's been an interesting journey because I grew up in love. So all the things that the people move and how they operate was extremely new to me. Because I will do and give anything to anyone out the kindness of my heart, and I don't want anything back in return for it.
Absolutely.
But I greatly, very fastly learned that that's not how the world operates. People will take from you. As long as your cup is open and full and you're willing to give, they will take.
Oh, yes.
So I've experienced a lot of that, but I'm very grateful for it as well, because I've built, it's just made me so much stronger. And the strength that I've built, I'm able to also take into my everyday life, because at the end of the day, it's about my family and what I can give back to them and how I can pour back into the community. So it's just given me certain, traits or things about myself that no one can ever take away. And I will tell you, the prayer that I say daily is that I pray that everything that I go through, that they do not turn my heart cold.
That's good.
That out of everything, I can continue to operate out of love. It's very, very important to me. Because I refuse, because that's what someone else is experiencing. And as much as we're here to help each other and we give and take, I don't want to take that from you.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No.
I totally agree.
No, that's your journey. You want to stay there, you stay there.
So that's a great segue to kind of talk about the power of having the ability to love the unlovable. So if you would, could you speak to that as well? You did it a little bit a few minutes ago, but I feel like you can go a little
bit deeper.
Come on.
It's when you understand your purpose. I understand the gifts that God has given me. And I literally see the art world as a space for me to fulfill my purpose. Because beyond making people feel things through characters, I want to aid in helping them build character within self. Those who have not had that around. So when you understand your purpose and why you're here, it's very easy, because I can see the brokenness. I can feel the brokenness.
Yes.
And I take the responsibility, and if there's anything that I can do to help anyone, I will always do that.
I love it. Great answer. Great answer. Awesome answer.
I always laugh so much when I talk. Sometimes I say, girl, you sound so cheesy, but it's the truth. It's the truth. And it's really from my heart.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, what can I do?
No, I get it. No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So are there specific roles of characters that resonate with your personal experience as a Black woman?
So far, and I will share a film, and believe it or not, the director, producer is from North Carolina as well. We shot this project during the pandemic. It was originally called Water for the Root.
Okay.
And they changed the name to Tainted Waters. Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, Amazon Prime, it's distributed on there. And a few other spaces you can find it. But it was of a young lady. She was pretty much putting herself through school and going through the battles that she has experienced with her relationship. And she ended up losing a baby along the way. And granted, I've never been pregnant, haven't had that experience. But just the perseverance of fighting for what you believe in and what your parents have put into you. When I got this role, it was so parallel to my life. I was so grateful to have the opportunity to act that out, because I feel that I could aid in helping someone else heal or get through something that they were going through.
Yeah, I you know what? I had a different question for you, but I kind of want to talk about, how do you prepare? I'm going to go back to that question. God, I hope I remember, okay? But I want to go back. What is your creative process like for you when you're preparing for a role, Rachelle?
My creative process is very different for each role. Of course, we study a lot of different methods, and I've actually been studying since I was 13, so I've learned a lot along the way. One of the methods that I've really loved when I was introduced to it, because it helped me break down every barrier that I had, was Meisner. And Meisner is just a natural kinesthetic pinch and ouch, but it's being present and responding to what's given to you. So I practice different things there. I allow myself to also really tap into everything that the character is going through. If the character's life is not parallel to my life, I will alter my life. Because we're kind of taking on the essence of the character. So if this character doesn't have a lot of friends that support her and she's down and broken, I can't talk to my friends every day, because their energy is going to affect the character's energy. So I really just get to know exactly what the person has experienced, so I can stay very true to their journey.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Speaking about, it's a great segue. I'm going to have to go back a little bit. We were talking about challenges a few minutes ago, a little bit. But I want to ask you, from a personal experience, how have you been able to face challenges? And have you faced any barriers? Let me rephrase it. Have you faced any barriers or challenges while being in the industry as a Black woman?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've experienced barriers, challenges, setbacks. I've experienced it all. Again, it's a learning experience. I will say I've had to refocus and I don't want to say restart my career again, but begin it again with a different set of people, because the group that I've had in the past, I understood that God couldn't bless me in those seasons. And I've had to do that 3 or 4 times. And that's just because of, things that happen. I've gone to LA and been approached by, I was actually going to a meeting and with someone who was in the Me Too movement. And as soon as I walked in the office, they said they wanted to sleep with me. I'm not interested in selling my soul, and every night I will sleep good. Do you hear me?
I love it.
So that was another barrier. I actually stopped singing. Remember, I told you I started singing at a very young age.
Yes.
I stopped singing because I got woke up by a producer trying to take my bra off, because I fell asleep at the studio because I was tired when I was in college, because I would drive back and forth so much. It literally took my voice away from me. I stopped singing for 10, 11 years. And I say at the very end, for 2 years, I was acting and I was kind of very depressed. I wasn't booking anything at the time. I was just in a box auditioning because at this point we had transitioned to self-tapes where you weren't going into the room.
Yeah.
So if you needed feedback, you weren't getting it. So you're just in a room just trying to figure it out by yourself.
Sure.
And I got so depressed. And the guy I was dating at the time, he's from Ghana, he's from Africa.
Okay.
I went to Africa and opened my eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, to the world in a completely different way.
Sure did.
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But then I came back and I discovered some different things there, products that I fallen in love with, and they helped heal me.
Yeah.
And in the midst of that time, because I was so down in acting, and I majored in business management, entrepreneurship, I decided to start a business. And that business helped pull me out of the deep darkness that I was in.
Wow.
And then I prayed for God to get me back to living with my purpose after that. I got a phone call from my father who said, "Are you ready to go on tour?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" What? I ain't been singing. What? He said, "Yeah, we're about to go on tour." A production company out of London, they shot a documentary about Betty. And in the midst of them ordering the film, they ordered the original band.
Wow.
So here I am performing with her original band, who my father is the drummer, all the men that I grew up with, and God has blessed me with this opportunity to pull me out of what I felt was, crushing my soul, but it really was just directing me to where I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'll just say the one thing that if I can add and give anyone anything,
please,
it's just stay the course.
Yeah.
Keep the faith.
Yeah.
Which is so hard because we want what we want. But I am literally a living testament of how God will turn things around for you and how he's working in seasons in ways that you have no idea.
Yeah.
So it's just being obedient.
Yeah. I love that. I love that, as we stated before, that pressure, which helps me understand you even better now. That applied pressure that happened into your life, that adversity.
Yes.
But look at you standing. You're standing through all of that adversity. And you know what? As we continue to talk about this, it makes me even delve into more. And I kind of figured this would happen within this conversation, to talk a little bit about, how can I say this? How there's no room for jealousy, no room for hate, because everybody's journey is different. But at the same time, I can't judge you based off of where you are now, based off of what you've gone through. I hope I kind of said that right.
You're right.
If you're at the top of if you're at the top, right? If you're at the top, I need to be I probably need to be asking you, what did you go through to get there?
There you
Not
are.
so much about being jealous, but more of, what was this process like for you? What was the journey like for you?
And beyond that, once you get it, you have to keep it.
Come on.
So what are you doing to stay in that seat? I find that, and it's so unfortunate, especially within us, it's this generation and generation and generation. But we're not taught to love ourselves. The second you in your home, the second we speak light or give power to ourselves, you have family members who will shut you down.
Yeah.
If you don't love yourself, how can the world love you?
How can it? I love it.
So it's taught because they're not taught. It sucks. It's a subconscious thing because they're not taught to love themselves, but they see what they want to be in other people.
Yes.
So instead of they don't know how to voice that because they also aren't allowed to talk in the home.
That's right.
You understand?
That's right.
It's such a system that we have to break, and it starts with the parents. Like, I literally have conversations with my mom now, and I give everything to that woman.
Yeah.
But sometimes we go through things and I say, Mama, how did you raise me? You raised me to use my brain?
Yes.
I mean, I think it's developed very well.
Absolutely.
And right now, I don't agree with what you're saying. And she'll look at me Like, she wants to backhand me. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And she's like, this is my child. Like,
I raised her that way.
Absolutely.
That's right.
You know, so
That's right. That's right.
we have to love ourselves, and we have to stop. We have to stop shunning, putting each other down for loving themselves, because that's the only way to reach anything and acquire anything in this world.
Anything.
Now, if you want to work for someone every day and let them tell you what to do,
have at it.
fine.
Yeah,
and they'll treat you accordingly.
Yeah.
But if you really want to fulfill the real abundance of this world, maybe even not financially, just the love which you go out every day, you have to be yourself in your most authentic way.
You know, me and Jamal talk about this quite a bit. We have these conversations about living in purpose, doing what you love to do.
Yes.
Even though you may be talented at so many different things, you can find yourself doing something that God literally called you to. And that's where your love and your passion is seen the most.
Can I stop you?
Please, please.
So, a lot of people don't know, but my mom, she's done a lot of work in the community. She owns a daycare center in Eden, North Carolina. Her capacity has been up to 150 kids daily, 6:30 to 11:30 at night.
Wow.
I grew up in the center, right? So here I am chasing my career, and I have a nonprofit organization for young girls on the side as well. So
I love it.
I'm not too far away, but I recently, this past year, was in a school teaching math to kids 2nd through 5th grade. I didn't have to even put in an application for this job.
Wow.
In the Gwinnett County school system. And it was literally the most rewarding and fulfilling thing, because I was able to see the impact that I was having on the kids' lives.
Sure.
And it's what you just said. I grew up around it.
Yes.
It's embedded in me. It's all these gifts that I had, but God knows.
God knows
how you can heal and touch people. So he took me to the classroom.
Ooh, yes.
What could I do but be obedient? And it was so beautiful. I mean, the school year is over. I don't know if I'm going to go back, but I'm grateful for that, because within that season, I was able to get those lessons, man.
Oh, man. This is this is so beautiful. If we could all just grab a hold to that and just stay right there, we will see some great things happen within our lives.
Amen.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You can have all of these gifts and talents, and it's good to use them all. Don't get me wrong. It's very, very important to use them all. I believe that.
Yes.
But I also believe that out of all of those gifts, one of those gifts is going to be your purpose.
Absolutely.
And it's good to have those, because you can actually go and,
and use them
in your journey, however you want to use them.
Yes.
And you still can make some money using those gifts. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But you're going to find yourself always sitting back in that seat of purpose. Always. And it's such a beautiful thing. I don't even think people realize the pain that comes with that season. I used to hear it all the time in church. You in your birthing season, son. Hey, you about to birth that baby.
Yes.
And so when you think about birth, when you think about a woman and she's having a child, I don't know what that pain is like. I
don't either. I'm terrified. Just the thought of it. I'm like, and I want to have a water birth. Right. What am I thinking? Natural girl.
No, I understand. Shout out to Precious.
Shout out to you.
Doula. She's a doula. Shout out to her. But yeah, when you get ready to birth something, there's a lot of pain that comes along with that. And if you're going to sit in the seat of purpose, then there's an expectation that pain comes along with that.
True.
But there's so much beauty in it.
And if your perspective changes and you understand that this is just what we have to go through to get it, and we just have to do it.
We just have to do it.
It's not pain.
It's not pain.
And then it's the journey.
It's the journey.
And then you can talk about it later.
Oh, my God.
Because a lot of people don't understand the journey is where the blessings are.
Come on now.
It's not at the end. No. It's not the beginning. It's in the middle. You have to experience. And that's what I said about being present.
Come on. I love it.
If you're there, you will never miss anything.
You will
You're
never
just
miss-
weathering it.
Just weathering it.
That's it.
It's a beautiful thing. Man. Oh, I love this. I love this conversation.
Yes.
I love you being here. We're in the moment of having this conversation.
Yes.
So it's a beautiful thing. You know, when you look at people's pictures, you say, oh, man, they look so great. Oh, man, they're beautiful. Oh, man, they're doing some wonderful things. But it's different when you meet them and you're in their presence, and then you're saying, okay, well, that's why.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's why.
Yes.
You're in your purpose. But when you get around that person, when you get around that individual, it's like, oh, I really understand now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
And that's the beauty. That's the one thing that I love about doing this. Mm-hmm. I get a chance to see the true, authentic individual.
Right.
When they're able to sit down, and once they open their mouth and they begin to talk, and then I get excited because I'm like, yep, that's what I wanted to see. You know,
giving me the juice.
Yeah, give it to me. Give it to me. Yeah.
Yes.
So I actually enjoy this, and you make it easy. Everybody has a hard time. Some people have a hard time.
Yeah.
But I think the environment that you create,
absolutely,
and just making people comfortable.
Yes.
I've recorded people before, and we had started the show.
Yeah.
And they didn't even know. Mm-hmm. But we was having a whole conversation.
Absolutely.
And I'm sitting there looking at Jamal like, they don't even know. And Jamal
but
was
it's
like,
flowing.
we're flowing. And
yes.
we're going to edit this thing, and it's going to be beautiful, right?
Yes.
So, Rachelle, this is awesome. You know, I heard you make mention of some of the great individuals that are in your family. I got to ask you, what does it feel like for you to, let me rephrase it, because that feels great. I don't even have to answer that for you. What? Miles Davis? What? That feels great, right? But do you feel any pressure at all?
To be honest, growing up, I used to feel so much pressure because my mother is such a powerful, influential woman in our community.
Sure.
And I was always just, that's Lil Aretha. That's Lil Aretha. That's Lil Ree.
Yeah.
You know, and I always knew that I had to fill such big shoes. I mean, because look at my mother, and if I don't, they're going to say, Lord, what happened to the child?
Sure.
And then, you know, of course, the older I got, I just really began to realize, like, God has given me everything that I need.
Yeah.
He's equipped me with everything.
Everything.
So there's no reason for me to have any pressure.
Yeah.
And even the big names and the big accolades and spaces that my family has acquired.
Oh, yeah.
It's in me. It's in my spirit. It's in my soul.
That's
and I learn from them.
Yes.
I study them. And I mean,
because they were trailblazers within them. Like, they changed the game to jazz, to
100%. Yes, from rock and roll,
everything. Wow. We don't hear enough about Betty Davis either, though.
When I tell you, I'm not exactly this. Me and Betty are definitely different people.
I'm just saying.
But the essence of everything that she's endured.
Sure, yes.
I've endured. I mean, there's so many parallels that I never thought would be there. Mm-hmm. And for me, I am so honored and so grateful for this space, because growing up as a child, I mean, I was around Betty.
Sure.
My daddy would pump the music into me, and I used to want to do what I wanted to do. I wanted to cheer and I wanted to dance, and you know, it was at a certain point that it was like, okay, this is something that you need to look a little bit more into. I know it's in your back door, but there's history here.
There's history there,
And believe it or not, when they put out the documentary about Betty, because it's so random.
Sure.
I don't know how they couldn't contact my father, but they contacted me to start communicating back with the family.
Wow.
So I've been one of the point of contacts and still aid with helping to carry out a lot of things now. Me, myself, one of her best friends, Connie Porter, we work together. Shayna, her niece, who is also still living. It's pretty much the three of us who communicate things. Well,
you know, it's purpose.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was divine.
And for me, if I can say this, with my father, you know, with the industry and things, He's made it to the highest heights, but he didn't make it all the way. And I'm shooting their documentary right now.
Okay. So we won't talk too much about it.
Yeah,
I got you. But okay.
For him and I to share the stage together, it's almost like they say, like a man reaches his full richness once he sees his children successful. I feel like that moment was that beautiful that my father got to experience that with him and his daughter.
Sure.
Of something he experienced previous with his cousin, and to be back on stage performing.
Understood.
It was a dream come true, and it's one of the greatest blessings. I'm grateful that I was able to give him that experience.
Yeah, such a blessing.
Man.
Such a blessing. You know, in the beginning, we talked about being our true, our authentic selves, being our true authentic selves. But again, it went back to what you said, knowing who you are. And sometimes you got to go back to your family roots to really dig and find out who I am. But for you, you're just walking in it.
It's a blessing.
It's a blessing, yeah.
I mean, I do a lot of digging sometimes when I get lost in things.
Okay, sure.
You know, just to find more information. So I'll tell you, have you heard of the Charlie Poole Festival?
No, I haven't.
Well, they have it in Eden, North Carolina.
Okay.
One of my relatives taught Charlie Poole how to play the fiddle back in the day. So as I'm cleaning up my great-grandmother's house, which is the house I turned into the production house that we shot the business out of, which Jamal works on.
Yes.
I found pieces of clothing, guitars, just things that I started to say, what is this? And my mom shared with me what it was.
Yeah.
And I started to shoot a visual telling the story because no one knows who taught Charlie Poole how to play.
Oh, man.
And when they show and they tell the story, he's a white man, but he's black. And our history, if we don't look at our history and tell it as we see what we're living in now, it would be changed to what they want to fit their narrative. And you'll be lost.
Oh, boy. Yeah, this is good. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. It makes me think about, I'm going to go back a little bit when Kanye West, there was a bar that he said, they taught us to love their wealth, but hate ourselves. And in us hating ourselves, we don't delve into the history to find out who we are. And if we find out who we are, we'll begin to love ourselves. So much history.
And we're addicted to something they print every day.
We are addicted to it.
Why?
Oh my God.
You got to be rich in heart to really even enjoy the things that you obtain from that financial abundance.
Yeah.
I mean, it's listen.
It's so much, right?
Yes.
When I think about Cicely Tyson, she was so regal.
Yes.
I mean, you think about
Cicely was Miles' first wife.
Of course, yeah. I did know that. Yes, I did know that. That's right. I actually watched I watched a movie, Don Cheadle.
Yes.
When he did a
phenomenal job. Yes, killing.
I thought he was Miles for a minute. I was watching, I was like, wait a minute. Did Miles Davis just step
back into it, right? Like, wait.
He pulled that off.
When you study, right? And you know.
What?
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
I know you all were so proud of that.
Man, it's
beautiful, right? I get goosebumps just talking to you about it, It
literally is.
Because
and I'm so sorry.
No, please go.
Betty's oldest living relative is my grandmother, who is 96 years old, whom also still works. Just because she wants to, but she's fully capable. I just bought her some Jordans, some ones.
Oh, she probably loves
she
that.
fly. But she's still living, So for her to also see and experience all this is amazing.
It's amazing.
Yes.
And then you all are doing what you're doing now. So
it's beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful that you are digging up these treasures of ours in our community.
Yes.
There is a book that was written by Dr. Jelani Favors.
Okay.
And it's called Shelter in the Time of Storm, where he visits, he did a history, he's a history professor over at, shout out to you, Dr. Favors.
Yes.
He did it. Yeah, I got to give him a shout out over at North Carolina A&T.
Aggie Pride.
Worldwide. Whoop. You know.
Golden Delight, baby.
I love us, man, right?
All
Only
day.
we can do that, you know?
Back and forth.
Back and forth. Yes, sir. I love my people, baby. So at any rate, so he did this book, Shelter in the Time of Storm, and I'm on the 4th. I'm about to be on the 5th chapter of it. Okay. Amazing book, but it's talking about how HBCUs cultivated activism, and leadership. And he was able to, and I may be paraphrasing a little bit, so y'all don't charge it to me that I've read the book. Okay, don't charge it to me because I'm still in the process of finishing the book. But it's these diaries that he was able to dig up and go into these different HBCUs, and it's an amazing piece of work. So if you get a chance, make sure you check that book out, Shelter in the Time of Storm, by Dr. Jelani Favors. Jamal has a copy.
Oh, okay, that's perfect.
So there you go. Jamal got a copy.
I'll be over tomorrow.
There it is. So you get a chance, which was a great segue for me just to kind of plug that in for him, but also to talk about the importance of us pulling up our history so we don't lose it. And they won't tell their stories, but we have to tell our stories.
Yes.
And it's beautiful that you all are telling this great story of these regal individuals within our community, these people who have been trailblazers within, because when you think about what your family members did for music, right? And the value and the importance and their demands.
Absolutely.
As artists.
Yes.
To say, no, this is what I do want. Just like James Brown and so many others that came from that era and that time. If you would, Rachelle, would you talk a little bit about making your demands as an artist, if you would? Could you speak to that, if you would? Because I know it's in you.
Most definitely. There's that's something that is developed along the way, right?
Okay, sure.
So when you first enter into the business, you pretty much condition and train you as if you're working for them. Meanwhile, they don't get paid unless you get paid.
That's true.
But so the longer you stay in it, you start to learn, okay, this pretty much weasels out those that aren't that serious about it or aren't doing the work to develop and build the team and everything around for it to flow and work organically.
How long?
It's a lot. It's a lot, but once you reach that place, you understand? And for me, it's also not a space that I'm seeking control. I just have a purpose of what I understand what I have to do.
Yes.
Within that space, I choose that I add value to everyone that I'm around. And if I can't add any value, I don't want to be in your presence by any means. And vice versa.
Vice versa, absolutely.
You know? So when those demands and things happened, it's literally for the better. And if it's not, we can communicate about that.
Yeah.
Because I understand I'm not always right.
Yeah.
But when I have a thought, I'm sure of my thought. You know?
Right.
I'm very sure of that.
Yeah.
But I'm okay and very open to communicate and talk.
Yeah, I love the way you did that. You did that with such grace, which lets me know that's how you handle it whenever you're in those business transactions. So it's beautiful to watch, beautiful to see.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So thank you for sharing that, because I also want people to get out of these teachable moments based off of your experiences to help people kind of hear a different perspective about it. Yeah, it's not going to always be easy.
And then I will say there's a lot of different characters, if you will, out there, and everyone has their place and position.
Yeah.
I'm a very real individual. So if there's anyone that I'm close and connected with, that's why. They will see that, they will feel that, and they will be the exact same way.
Sure.
There's a group of people who can operate and be fake and move to get what they want. It's not me. Because beyond the business, I know I have a soul and I have additional work to do than that. So I'm not going to kill this.
Nah.
You know, so it's...
Nah. Thank you for sharing that, though.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing
that. Yes.
Because, I think sometimes as artists, you can get caught up in the lights, the cameras, the fame.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's beautiful.
Oh, it is. Oh, without a question.
But I mean, so many of them are crying, brokenhearted while still enjoying the fame, and I'm not saying that it's terrible, but it's all in what you want to do, how you want to live your life. And for me, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I totally understand. All of that is beautiful.
Because everyone has to do different things. So I never want to take something away from someone, if that's the choice that they've made. Because some people make clear choices, but it just doesn't work for me.
It just doesn't work for you. Exactly. I think me and Jamal might have had that conversation. I was like, look, I'm not going to judge nobody off a decision that they make for their life or for their career choice or what they choose to do, because I don't know what they're going through right now.
Right.
Whether I agree or disagree with it,
right.
I don't know their trouble. Like, I don't. Like, I was hearing a few people talk about their journey. I won't call names. I don't believe in calling names like that. So they were talking about their journey. They're talking about growing up real poor and how it was bad. It was just bad.
Yeah.
And so they made a conscious decision to do something that most people would frown upon. But after I heard their story, then it kind of made me say, well, he set his family up.
I understand where you were in that time.
Where you were in that time. So you're thinking, well, if I do this, then I can set my family up for generational wealth. And I'll just have to take the back end blunt of that sacrifice so they can be okay. So so many nuances in that.
I mean, because within our community, we're so broken.
We are.
You understand? And we don't even look at it like a community anymore. No, so you can go through something and I'm going to turn the cheek. So we're leaving, especially men who want to be men but not being taught how to be men, don't know how. Everything's so turned around. And if we don't have a soft space to just be a human, and understand, then you're going to constantly push people away, and that's not what God wants.
No, there's so much trauma in our community.
So much.
It's layers and layers and layers of it, even from our parents,
literally,
grandparents and great parents. I hear stories from my mom about some of the trauma that they went through and how they dealt with losing certain things because of that trauma. They're like, I just don't want to deal with it. And you give away generational wealth because you don't want to deal with the trauma of what that felt like.
Or let's talk about the great, because I have a grandmother, love her to death. She's never been on an airplane. Wow. This lady has held some of the highest positions in the government, which you didn't do back in the day. Yeah. But she's never been on an airplane, and there's nothing I can do to get her on one. Yeah. I mean, because the fear of seeing planes crash. Yes. The fear of seeing, I don't know what my tomorrow looks like. I'm leaving too much. Mm-hmm. But is she wrong?
No. That's her perspective.
It takes conversations. It takes us being open and stop attacking each other.
Do you know how much land probably was stolen from black folks over the years?
And still being stolen right now. Today? Yes.
How much land, property, ideas, patent ideas, because we did not have either the capital to make it come to fruition.
Or the knowledge.
To do so. So imagine that trauma of saying, you imagine if your great grandmama said, I created that.
You
and to
like,
watch
what?
her cry, right?
Literally
cry. The pain within that. And you still watching your family go through impoverished situations, knowing that idea
would have changed
things, and that's mine. That's traumatizing.
However, right, when you have someone that's close and next to you, that one that's looking at it, you can turn that child's brain around and say, you were the one to change this for your family.
Can you do it?
You have to see beyond it.
Yes.
Be strong, work, and weather through it.
Yes.
Because if God can give you something and you can see it, it means it's destined for your life and you have the ability to do it.
Yes, I love it.
You know, so if you're in that work and feeling that, that's the time to work and make those changes.
Let me tell you something, Rachelle. I love the way you turned that around. We are not victims.
No.
That's
no.
I love it.
No,
I love it.
It's like because if you remain a victim, you stop life from happening. Stop life from happening. Now you're living in the past.
I love it.
And I can't do nothing if we living back there because yesterday doesn't determine my future, right?
No, it doesn't.
So why am I keep looking back there? Because we remind each other to stay back there all the time.
We do. We
keep each other there because we see no growth for ourselves, but it's been put onto us.
Yes.
So it's about having the conversations and people being comfortable.
I love it.
Yeah.
Rachelle, you're a dope individual. You hear me?
Thank you.
I'm not just saying that too.
Thank you.
I'm not just saying that. I mean that. That's good. This is, the hope for me today is this conversation will be taken even further, that you're more than just a thespian, more than just an artist.
Thank you.
We hear them say that now, more than an athlete. Well, you're more than just a thespian and an artist and an actor. There's so much more that's deep inside there that's going to serve its purpose. So you can be just a little corner of that salt that we need to be in the earth. So imagine if all of us would join forces together.
I pray.
Right?
I pray.
That's the prayer.
Literally, and let me say this.
Sure.
For everyone that's listening, understand that you not holding yourself accountable for your life is affecting every last one of us that are around you. We all breathe the same air.
Yes, we do.
We're operating out of energy as we move. So if you're not true to it, the next one will feel it. And I know this is very deep, but we affect each other whether we believe it or not, from the richest man in the world to the poorest person in the world. We have to find a way to come together and stop allowing things to turn us against each other.
Yes.
Because the world needs love again. And it's easy. It's the easiest thing to do is to love each other.
You would think it is, right?
It is, though.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's the simplest thing.
I totally agree with you.
It requires nothing but to... But we have fear.
We do.
We operate in fear, and we're not present. We can't. It's just so much.
It's
but
so much. Yeah.
Love is so easy to give.
It's real easy.
Yeah.
It's very easy, right?
Yes.
I love you just because.
Yeah, just because you're here.
Just because you're here. Right?
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. So, Rachelle, listen, I typically say you've already done it. So, typically, I love it, though. You've already done it. I typically say...
the finish.
Did you say something?
Wait, I got something else, though.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Take this time, if you would. Say something positive to the folks out here to inspire them and to empower them, and then let the folks know how they can contact you. How they can contact you, get in contact with you, and everything that you got going on before we close. It's on you, Rachelle.
So... First, I'm so grateful for this opportunity, for this moment.
Absolutely.
From the second that I first heard about the podcast, from Maisha to Jamal, I as well.
Maisha!
Yes.
She's in California now.
Yes. Left us.
She did leave us,
right.
didn't she?
But I as well truly wanted to sit down to talk with you. And I'm very grateful that we were finally able to make it happen a few years later.
Yeah, a few years later.
And for that, within my stuff, I did want to bring you, this is a soap from my company, Pure by Simone. It's 100% natural. I make them all by myself. And this is the black alloys.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I got my soul, baby.
Oh, we might take that.
Yeah.
I got my soul, baby.
And it's black, baby.
What camera we looking at? That's that commercial right there. But On another note, to end, I just say for everyone, stay true to who you are. Love yourself.
Yes.
If there's something that you don't know, never be afraid to ask, because the biggest dummy in the room is the one who does not ask.
Come on now.
No one can ever stop you and keep you in a place but yourself.
That's right.
Your ability to see it means it's destined for your life. And just spread love through all that you do and watch the blessings come back to you.
I love it.
I'm Rachelle Neal. You can find me everywhere. Rachelle Neal. And
I love it. Thank you, Rachelle Neal.
Thank you so much
for your time. We value you as a person. This space that you hold within the arts world, and just being, you definitely are a gem and a light within our community, and we really do appreciate you. This is all about shedding light in our community and giving people their voices within our community.
Yes.
For those who may not have ever heard of Rachelle Neal.
Yes.
They know now.
Yes,
right?
from Eden, North Carolina.
Yes, sir. I love it. I absolutely love it. And thank you. And I want to take note on this too. I said something a few minutes ago in admiration of you. I said we have our black Barbie doll sitting in front of us.
You did.
And I think all of our black little girls need to see this, need to understand that it's okay to be chocolate. You can still be beautiful, and you can let it just flow.
100%.
100%. So this is something dear to me because I'm a dark-skinned man.
Yes.
This melanin in my skin. And I purposely wear a white beard intentionally because I want people to understand that, yes, I am dark-skinned with a very white beard.
Yes.
But it's beautiful. Yes. Black is beautiful, and we're beautiful.
Yes.
And we should wear it out loud and be okay with it. Yeah.
Listen, I will tell you this. My first time going to Africa, and I told you I grew up in love. I've always loved my skin, even with kids picking on me for being black, because they did.
Of course.
But I still love my skin because I was taught to love myself at home.
That's right.
My first time going to Africa, it was the first time I loved and saw myself in a different way. Because I saw people that looked just like you and I who loved themselves.
Love themselves.
They were black as they could be, and you couldn't tell them nothing. Dressed in a 3-piece suit, doing what they needed to do, making money, working, hustling. It was not a thing.
No.
And even though we have a lot of colorism in our families and deep into us, it's beautiful to see a space where it's not the first thing you see when you see someone.
Nah.
In our culture in America, it's
the first
light skin, dark skin. It's like, but who are you seeing? What are you seeing?
What are you seeing?
Yeah. And if you want to put a label on something, let's put a label on me that I can actually grow with. Don't try to label me to put me in a box you want to keep me in because you're insecure, you know? So
that's right.
Yeah, to all those beautiful little brown babies around the world, love yourselves. Love yourselves. You're beautiful.
Yes.
Your essence will shine through your eyes, through your soul, and through everything that you do.
That's right.
And never let anyone tell you any difference. And if they do, they're uncomfortable and insecure within themselves because God makes no mistakes.
He makes no mistakes.
No.
I absolutely love it. It's beautiful to be kissed by the sun.
Amen.
And be okay with the sun shining.
Are we talking? I lay out and tan. I'm not joking.
I got you.
I'm not playing.
Yeah, I see you not playing with them.
This melanin not gonna keep me away from one of the greatest things in this
world. We sun people anyway. Don't play with us. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They say you acting like them white people. No, I'm not. I'm acting like Rachelle. I love the sun.
I love the sun, baby. We've been kissed by it. It's
Listen,
okay.
And gonna keep being kissed.
Keep on being kissed by it, you know? So listen, I hope something was said today that can help you become a better you. Listen, this is the Ross Cloud Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Ross. Make it a great day and keep being great.
Today's episode of the Ross Cloud Podcast is sponsored in part by GospelStationCharts.com, where you can view gospel radio station song charts and track the promotion of your song, such as view how many stations are playing your song and how often, including what day and time your song played. Check it out now. Visit GospelStationCharts.com.
Bye.